be raised? How should it be done?
Let me turn this on, that would help a little bit. Taxes, yes. We need to look at what we can do to raise revenues in the state of New Mexico. What I've learned in my experience in legislature, it's a balance act that you have to look at, but we have to review and see. I have introduced, and this will be the 4th year, about looking once again, and Senator Tizipino has signed on with me on my bill, about doing away with that income tax break that we gave to the upper group of people. Several years ago, when that came before the legislature, I stood against the governor on that. Guess what? I wasn't very well received by the governor. That's where my independence comes from, about what we need to do and do what's right for our people in the state of New Mexico. And that's what I do with my vote. I represent the people of the state of New Mexico, and that's what I propose to do if I am honored to be elected to be the Lieutenant Governor of the state of New Mexico. When we talk about taxes, there are a whole plethora of many other things, the grocery receipts on food, sodas, the whole bit. That's all on the table at this point. But I think one that is an equalizer that helps us as a people. Why should somebody who earns $800,000, $200,000 be paying the same amount of income tax as somebody who's earning $10,000? There's an inequity in that. That's not what this is about, that's not what I'm about, and that's not what this party is about. Thank you. Mr. Campos.
Does everybody turn it off when they get there? Okay. I think the issue that we're talking about is obviously the 03 tax cut. And that's why our state of New Mexico is having a very serious issue with the budget that we do have right now. And back in 03, we did give tax cuts to the higher income, the middle class. And those were, when this bill was going through, the House of Representatives did vote to put automatic triggers onto that bill, which meant that if the economy was ever to decline, it would automatically trigger those away, and we would be back at where the tax cuts, where the taxes were in 03. But the Senate did stand up with the House, and they turned off our triggers, and that bill was passed. And now that we don't have all the gas and oil reserves that we had back in 03, 04, 05, and 06, now we find ourselves in a serious issue that what are we going to do? In fact, it was the day after the special session. We had a Democratic pancake breakfast down on Central. And that day after the special session, I was asked, what would you do in the upcoming session to help balance this budget? And it was direct. We need to put that 03 tax, get rid of it, but not the whole thing. The tax cuts for the middle class, I would keep, because I got to keep our middle class spending money. But we must return the tax cuts that we gave to the wealthy from a single filer of 100 and 150 for dual filing. We must return back to the state of New Mexico. Look, we've given them a tax cut for 6 years. I would ask, we need you back now. We need to bring you back now. It's a simple proposal. We need to create a progressive tax system. That's what the House of Representatives stood for 6, 8, God, it's already been 7 years. 7 years ago, and it's something we need to return. Thank you very much.
I would reframe the question. It's not if taxes are needed, it's because taxes are needed. We have now a Legislative Finance Committee proposal that would cut teacher salaries, cut all public employees' salaries 2%, cut all the rest of the budgets 5%, and still leave, including higher education salaries, 2%, and still leave a $200 million gap. We're going to need taxes. The issue is whether we're willing to settle for that kind of cut and taxes, $200 million worth, or whether we're really going to get serious about reforming our system and go for the $500 million in tax increases that it would be necessary to avoid those cuts. I think we can afford to do that, because what we've done with our tax system is we've flattened out. All the upper tax brackets have all been flattened up, so that now anybody earning, or a married couple filing jointly earning more than $26,000 a year, they all pay the same 4.9%. There's only one upper division tax bracket now. Anybody over $26,000 a year for a married couple filing jointly is all paying the same rate. That's nuts. Should be different tax brackets. All we have to do is reinstitute some progressivity in our tax brackets. Have one at 76, one at 126, one at 176, one at 26 million if you want. But we need some progressivity. If we did that, we wouldn't need to do anything beyond that. We need, and if we're going to just raise $200 million, that's all we would have to do. If we want to raise $500 million, there are some corporate tax loopholes that absolutely could be plugged. And we ought to take a really close look at sin taxes. Alcohol, tobacco, soft drinks, junk food, all of those could be taxed without making a serious impact on the working class families. What we cannot do is reinstitute the food tax.